fellas, it's me again, and I thought, hey, I made a video talking about my favorite and least favorite bosses in all of Soulsborne, you can say, and I thought, hey, why not make this for locations too? Because that is the part of the games that I feel like it is talked about, but not the amount I would like maybe. So I thought to create some sort of discussion and hype surrounding areas. I don't know, why not rank them all, right? So there's nothing else to do but to go to watch this one. There we are, let's see. And we have in front of us a lot of the areas. Hopefully we have every area. Let me do a head count fast. So it wasn't correct, so I switched to another one. This should have all the areas, including the DLCs and everything. So that's what I'm going with. And again, I switched myself over to that side of the screen so you can see more clearly what I'm doing. The areas are all jumbled, so I'm going to take them in the order that they appear, and hopefully we can get through this in a pretty smooth manner. If you have anything else to do, maybe a show or something, put this on in the background and just listen to me ramble if you would like. So, Abandoned Dungeon. It's from Sekiro, that I know. It's, if I remember correctly, it's a very tiny area. So I'm not really sure. It's not that bad. It's not that bad, but it's not that good either. I would probably give it a C. Oh, and I forget to mention, as I do all the time, that the ones furthest to the left is the better ones, while the areas furthest to the right is the less good ones. So the furthest to the right of C in this case is almost a D, unless I state otherwise. So, Abandoned Old Workshop is a very tiny area too. Alas, I still like it. It has that atmosphere, and it's very important in relation to the lore of Bloodborne. So I still like to give this a B. Mainly because the things you find there and their meaning, it kind of ups it a notch. Even though it's a very tiny area and there are no enemies, still, it's not that bad. Ainsel River Main is... sorry. Ooh, how do I say this? How do I put this forward without you unsubscribing from my channel? Because you are subscribed, right? How do I do this shit? Well, I did not like these areas. Both Ainsel, River Main, Ainsel, I don't know how you really pronounce it. But also the Siofra Aqueduct and Siofra River. I know a lot of people really like those, but for me they're not really clicking and I don't really know why. Still, this one ain't so bad, and there's a ton of atmosphere in it. I also think this is the place where you fight one of the incarnations or something of oh, what is it called? The star enemy boss with the horrifying skeletal head. I'll probably give this a very low B, I think. I kinda like it now that I think about it. Aldea's Keep is one of the areas in any of these games that I dislike the most. The concept is really cool. The concept of this huge castle, this fortress, or this keep, where with all these experiments and things gone awry, it has the potential again to be something really amazing, but it never really clicks. The only real good thing about it is the skeletal, I think it's a dragon, that can come to life and attack you. In the original game it did so when you first entered the area, and in the remake you have to, I think you light all the candles in order to get it to move. Still, this is an easy D, and it's a very low D in my opinion, because I do not like this area at all. I'm sorry about that, it's just the way things are. Honor Londo, and this is the one from Honor. This is the one from the third game, and it's not that bad. It's actually one of the better areas, I'd say. And when we come around to it again, just the sheer scale of the area is almost unmatched in that game. Plus you get some lore and an okay enough boss. I'd still put it into B maybe. I might drop this down later on, I'm not sure yet. Now this one, on Orlando, when I think about it, it's such a great area. It is a fantastic area. The more I think about it, the only thing that I think it lacks is I really didn't like, I know why, but I really didn't like just fighting all these Silver Knights mostly. And there's a lot of emptiness, there's a lot of running. I like the apparently I'm having a stroke. I like the path you can take off the beaten path that leads to one of my favorite areas in the game eventually, which I'm coming to soon. So either a very high A or an S. That's very low. I think I have to go with S in the end. The reveal too is just fantastic, and still to this day this area looks incredible. Just look at the skyline. Archdragon Peak. Does this encapsulate the entire section? I think so. It seems to be the whole entire section. Okay, that's how it is. It's not that bad. It's not that great either. I really dislike fighting the Viven. It's just a bad boss, if you ask me. Even though I understand the point of the boss, but I don't really like it. However, then we have another boss, the king himself, the Nameless King, and that's a great fight. So there's both highs and lows. I still think it maybe gets a B. I know I'm putting a lot of areas into B, but it has its reasons. Ash Lake is... oh boy, oh boy. I'm going to get murdered. No, not for this, maybe a C. I think I'll drag down the abandoned dungeon to D. Yeah, Ash Lake is an area that is very cool. I like especially the soundtrack. And the Hydra is... it's nice to see it return in some form. And then you get into the ancient dragon and you can swear your loyalty in order to join the Covenant. And there's a lot of things, especially story-wise, with this area that really matters for the first game. That said, it's just a boring area. It's not really that much to do. There's not really that much to do, and there's a lot of empty running, which I don't really like all that much. I think it's somewhat and sometimes fair enough to do that, and sometimes it's just unjustified, and I think this is one of these cases. Ashina Castle, I think this is just the one in general. I'm going to give it an S, and the main or am I? I think so. There's just so much to do in this area, and there's, with the elevation added in and the ability to sort of go where you want to almost. It's just a huge playground with a lot of interesting enemies and characters. And it also holds a lot of worth in terms of story. So I think Ashina Castle can stay in the S. Although it's a bit of a low S, doesn't matter. Ashina Depths, that is one of the poison pools. It's also one of the areas that I really dislike. This is probably worse than Aldia's Keep, probably. This is the one that eventually also leads to the Hidden Forest, and even further forward, the Mibu Village. So I don't really need to justify anymore that I really don't like this area. It's very annoying. Ashina Outskirts is kinda great. That's your introduction to this whole game. There's a lot of freedom in exploring how the mechanics of the game work in a more detailed manner, and there's a lot of open areas, and in this case it's a good thing. So there are some quest lines that you can follow here too, and it has a lot of things going for it. I really like Ashina Outskirts, one of the stronger areas in the game. And then we have Ashina Reservoir, which is, you know, every time I play this game, it's kind of the area that I just want to go through. There are some story beats that absolutely matters in this place, and there are some interesting things about it too. Yet every time I think about it, it's just one of those so that's why I'm going with an A, and that's why it gets a C. Belfry Luna. This is a hard one because I feel like Belfry Luna has pretty decent atmosphere, but it's also home to one of the gankiest Genka's Covenants in the second game is home to void hollow enemies, pun intended, that really it feels like you're hitting air. And it's also home to one of the worst bosses in the Souls games, period. The gargoyles, but worse, in a smaller area. Come on, I'd probably put this like a D. It's very bad. It's not good at all. Belfry Soul is slightly better. It is more open, and I like it way more than the Belfry Luna area. I think what it also matters is the atmosphere is here as well, but it doesn't feel as ganky. And I know you kinda face the same enemies, but there are some variations here too that makes it again slightly better. So I gotta put this in C. It's fine, it's decent, it's fine. Black Gulch, you know, I played this game many years ago. I don't even wanna think about how many years ago, but I did. And Black Gulch, I really hated it when it came out. And now when I play it again, I still hate it, but not as much. You know, the atmosphere is incredible. I can't deny that. The beating, it almost sounds, you know, the dunkel. How do you say in Swedish? We say dunkelt. I can't find the word for it, but there's sort of sounds like there's a beating heart somewhere around. And the pitch black darkness, especially when fighting the hidden way to the giants, that's one of my genuine fears. So I had to really take it easy in that section, and that's something magical. It's very hard to replicate that feeling of tension, that feeling of like, oh shit, can I really, do I have the courage to go here? So I can't really underestimate it, and I'm gonna put it just below Ash Lake for those reasons. Belfry Soul, you're on the edge here. And now I'm looking and I see that I've come across my first very controversial opinion. And this is gonna freaking kill me, okay? I'm so sorry about this, and I'm sorry not sorry, because I still think like this. I just gather my courage to put it where I want to put it. This is not a meme. This is not a meme. No, I love, you should play Blighttown on the PS3 or Xbox. You have like 5 FPS. Yeah. Okay, that's bad. As an area though, Blighttown is fantastic. I love Blighttown. I really do. Because there's so much things that they aced with this area. The oppressiveness is one of those things. Like, it doesn't feel it feels unfair, but in a good way. It doesn't feel too overwhelming. It feels like it's kind of frustrating to go through here the first time and blind like I did. I was like, what the frick am I doing? Still, I think it holds up really well. There are some NPCs here, some interesting storylines and quest lines, and a great boss to finish it off. So don't knock Blighttown, I love that shit. Brightstone Cove Seldora is, well, if you have arachnophobia, it's not a particularly welcoming area. That's kinda it, but it's still a decent enough place. I can't really say that I hate going through this area either. It's not that bad, alright? It's not that bad. Especially for the second game, it's not that bad. This is one of those hard ones that I'm not really sure where to put it. I'm guessing like somewhere around these parts, maybe. So on to Broom Tower. Does this encapsulate the entire DLC? It seems like it does. Or does it? Let's just Iron Key. Yeah, it encapsulates the entire DLC. Oh my god. Oh, then it becomes a tiny bit harder to rank. I'm kinda one of those that, while I appreciate the area and what it was trying to do, the Ash theme doesn't really work here, and it's so frustrating facing off against these Ashen enemies that can like two hit you with combos But the atmosphere is astounding, and I really liked how they went the other direction by going a more vertical route with the elevators or the makeshift elevators. I really like that part, plus fantastic bosses, both of them, so I can't really knock it too much. I'm thinking maybe a B, maybe a B. I still like Angel River Main more, I think I do. Nah, I can't really in good conscience, maybe I'll put it in the middle here. Alright, so Bergenworth, finally some more Bloodborne. This is a fantastic area. Unfortunately it's very short, which I'm kinda coming to terms with lately. But man, it's just drenched in this Lovecraftian vibes. This England in the 18th, 19th century. I gotta think, 19th century. Or even older. And just overlooking the lake. Oh my god. It has pretty much everything. It's short, I know. But it's great. It's great. Caria Manor is also a pretty decent one. The only thing I really don't like about this place is the boss at the end. That they rehashed my bae. Loretta, why did they rehash her? She's such a great fight the other time around. Yet, I mean, if you've gone to this place blind and you don't notice the fingertops sticking up from the ground, you're in for a scare. Holy shit. Plus the ones sitting on the side of the buildings and stuff. Oh my god. It's a really good area, and I'd probably place it in A. It's such a good area now that I think about it more. If only they could have expanded it to make a real dungeon in some way. I don't know. Castle Morn, it's also one of the better ones, I feel like, in Elden Ring. It's also kinda, it's not short. I don't know. This is probably an A. Yeah, it probably is. There's just so many things about this place that's fun. It's fun. It's a fun castle to go through, a fun little dungeon. I'm just thinking if it's better than Caria Manor, and I don't think it is really. Almost maybe, but not really. Castle Soul. Let's see. Alright, so this is the one with Commander Niall. At the end, the real version of him, that is. With the prosthetic. And as a castle, as a location to journey through, maybe it could have been a tiny bit better, I feel like. I like the knights and the alternative of how they mainly look like. Yet there's just something about it that's kind of grindy. Plus this is the place where they really start to up the damage of the game. It really feels like this is the start point maybe where the damage is getting a bit out of hand. So I'm probably gonna give this a C. It's probably around here, I think. Catacombs of Carthus, that's a pretty decent area actually. I kinda like the design of the place. You know, it feels barren yet not. And it feels kind of oppressive, yet it at the same time doesn't. It's very hard to explain what I think in actuality. But I mean, the boss, I really like the boss of this place. I'm thinking. Volnir isn't really that great to many people, but I like him. And the atmosphere is kinda great. Maybe a B. I think Catacombs of Carthus is better than Londo, probably, as an area. And probably more fun than Broom Tower. Remember that this isn't just about how the place looks and stuff, it's everything encapsulated into my decisions. So how it looks, how it sounds, the design, the level design, and other things, enemies, yada yada. Cathedral of the Deep. Straight up into A. Or is it even better? You know what? I'm going to be very controversial again. Cathedral of the Deep is actually one of those places. First of all, it's a giant area, right? Giant area with a lot of interesting design choices, especially running across the ceilings almost. I don't know what the name of it are. Rafters. Running across the rafters. It makes it, the scale kinda, it feels like the scale becomes real. That's what I'm trying to say. Plus the boss at the end really has a lot of lore aspect to it, and I kinda like that boss too. I mean, Deacons of the Deep may not be everyone's cup of tea yet. I mean, I like it. So plus it's here you meet Patches. Spoiler alert. So I like it. It's a fine area and a huge place where you can find a lot of hidden things too. So Cathedral Ward is easily an S tier. Is it before or after Analondo is the question. Let me give it a quick ponder. You can go there, okay, and then you can go the other way. It's probably, I think it'll stay before Analondo. It's just a huge sprawling place with this, I know I've said it before, but this atmosphere that's highly unmatched. Even in Bloodborne, I think. Man, it's great. It's great. I just saw my camera being like 30 FPS, so I apologize for that. I'll fix it hopefully. So, anyway. Cathedral Ward is such a nice area. Plus, it has one of the better bosses. A lot of quests are either continued here or even finished here. And it kind of connects to all the other places in some way. Plus, it's here that you have sort of the hub of every NPC that you can save. And it adds a lot of the storytelling. Cave of the Dead. Wait, is this the cave with the grave robber people, the gang squad? I'm gonna be real, I fucking hate this place. Cemetery of Ash. I mean, it's decent. The real good thing about this is Udex, Gundyr, that I've talked about in many of my former videos I've done about especially Dark Souls 3. He's a very interesting character and boss, and you should read up on him if you have the chance. His name means judge. Aside from that, it also has some sort of it has a smart level design choice early on, or game design, with risk versus reward with the lizard. So I can't knock it too much. It's probably better than Belfry's Soul. Ash in a Reservoir, maybe. Central Yharnam, best area. I think this is probably the best area in any Souls game, maybe. I'm not even joking, man. There are so many things that you learn about Bloodborne and the other games as an extension, just from playing through this place. The atmosphere is immense, the enemies are varied enough, and the lore implications is staggeringly many. So yeah, I mean, plus you can fight the cleric beast in this place, so you can of course go down to the sewer levels, I don't know what they're called exactly, and eventually also fight one of the best bosses in the entire game, Papa Gascoigne. Father Gascoigne, Papa G, Guacamole boy. Alright, I'm done. Chasm of the Abyss as an area. I mean, you get to know what happens with Sif and my extension Notorious. Absolutely. Other than that, I mean, it's not really that good. It's more lore. It's more of a lore area than a fun area. I don't think it's really that good. Probably ends up in C. Think something like this. Kinda like, you know what? Yeah. Consume King's Garden. Short, filled with toxic. An okay boss. This is a D. It's just, while there are some interesting design choices that's not necessarily bad, I think that the Pus of Man enemies is annoying. more than they are interesting. I understand why they are in this location, but still. I mean, the shortcuts, it's kind of smart in that way that you can unlock the shortcuts and yeah. Maybe I'm being too harsh on this place. Maybe it is better than... Yeah. Why is Belfry Souls of... Oh yeah. Man, I'm so biased. That's better. We can put this in front of these places, definitely. Maybe even Castle Soul. Even though I don't like the toxic aspect of it. We'll put it here. Crumbling Farm Azula. Man. This is a wonder to behold. They really nailed the scale and magic of Farm Azula. What else can I say? It's also home to a hidden boss, Placidusax. One of the more annoying bosses if you're not sure how to handle it. With the dual Godskin, the Godskin duo rather. It's a hard one. I think it's going to be either a B or an A. Very low A, I will say, but still. I think I very much enjoyed Castle Moan and Carrier Manor more than Crumbling Azula. I know it's a controversial, this is a controversial opinion, but I really did. I thought it wasn't so bad. But now that I think about it, it's definitely better than Archdragon Peak, and I might do that shit too. Crystal Cave. Man, fuck Crystal Cave. That's all I'm gonna say. It's just... It's kinda cool with the invisible walk stuff. Floors, that's what it's called. It's just so annoying though. That's the best I can do, I think. Dark Chasm of Old. Oh, it's those... I mean, as an area, it's just not really fun. It's not fun at all. The only redeeming quality of this is the boss. That ups it a notch. But I would still like put it here. It will... Abandoned Dungeon, Dark Chasm of Old. You know what? This is worse. It's like, oh, nah, I'll put it here. That's good enough. Darkroot Basin, not to be confused with Darkroot Garden. I can't knock this too much because it's home to the Hydra, which is very annoying, yes. But also the Golden Crystal Golem. It has a shortcut to Darkroot Garden, to the backside of the Darkroot Garden, and it also unlocks the shortcut back to the Undead Burg. So it's a very connective area. It also leads to... Doesn't it lead to Valley of the Drakes too? I think it... Yeah, it does. And again, Dark Souls 1 is King of Atmosphere, so I gotta up it a notch. I think I'll put it into a low B, maybe. I think I'll do this shit. And I think I will keep it like that. Doubtful. Man, it just keeps rising. Darkroot's Garden is the other way that you can go. With the Forest Covenant. Plus you can fight Sif at the end. It's not that bad of an area. And when you get the Wolf Ring, you can actually jump back over again. So, kinda like this too. I might be crazy. I might just leave it at that. I might be crazy. We'll do that. Okay, relax. Deep-root Debts. This area isn't really the worst. Plus you can fight Fiat champions, you can fight, I think it's Fortisax, if I remember right. And an Erd 3 champion, maybe? So I can't remember exactly, but I remember it being kind of decent. So middle of the pack, sorta C maybe. It's better than Castle Soul, yeah. Demon Ruins. Now the question is this the Demon Ruins? It seems to be the Demon Ruins from the first game. It really seems to be from the first game. So I'm going to assume it is. Now the thing with the Demon Ruins from the first game, does this encapsulate Isolith? Oh man, probably does. Yeah, because the thing is, the first part of this section ain't so bad. I really like it really feels like you're almost there, okay? I like the lava design. Not the sign of the lava, but the lava incorporation, I should say, into the area. Demons kind of make sense too, you know? And in terms of story and lore, it makes sense too. I wish we could just explore Isolith more. That you could explore the buildings in a more in-depth way. That's kind of where it falls. Plus the massive run back to the worst boss in the entire series doesn't really help its case. I can't in good conscience put this better than D. So that's the thing. It encapsulates the entirety of these areas into one. So there are some redeeming qualities, especially with Solaris questline, you know? The question is, it's better than these? Yeah, it is better than Crystal Cave. Fight me. Abandoned dungeon. Ashina Reservoir isn't a bad area though. That's the thing. It's just an A. Depraved Chasm 5-1. Ooh, 5-1. Now here we go. Speaking as one that has platinumed the remake and almost platinumed the original game on the PS3, which I did really enjoy. Depraved Chasm, I can't really believe I'm doing this, but it's an A. It's such a fantastic way of showing the depravity, excuse my pun, the depravity of some of these lost souls. But it also kinda builds up this anticipation within the player of what the boss you should face, how they would look like and stuff, and it's just made in Australia. Okay, they're separate, okay. But why is this? Wait a freaking minute. There definitely is. Hold on. Okay, they seem to have been doing some weird shit with demon souls, but anyway. 5-1 is expertly crafted in my opinion. It also has that Arkstones, how do you say, what it's called? The world tendency events kinda happens a lot in this Arkstone especially. How to find the spear, the holy spear? It's something I can't remember at the top of my head. But I really like going through this area. I don't know why. It's just something about it that I'm drawn to. I really like the dilapidated feel of the entire area. Like it's held together with not duct tape, but if it were in the game it would have been duct taped. That's from the first game, of course. This is an A2, and it's probably, I'm going to maybe flip this. Brand Castle, let's see, is better than Castle Morn. I think it is better than Castle Morn. Thinking, no it isn't. But Depth says it's better than Castle Morn. Mimikari Men 2. I think it is. That represents this feeling of being lost, isolated from the entirety of the world. And when you do find the bonfire, that you can open the door, you find the bonfire, it almost feels like you're kind of stuck somewhat too. And the boss at the end is just fantastic introduction all the way through. I hated the falling pits, but I will say, boy oh boy, was they were effective the first time I played through the game. So I'm gonna leave it at that. I love the depths, I really do. Could have been more dark. Other than that, it kind of succeeds as some sort of horror-esque place too. Dilapidated temple is like a B maybe. I can't put it above these. That's a good place for it though. The atmosphere of this place is off the chart. It really feels like the eye of the storm. That's a great way to put it. That just this place, just this very tiny place, there's calm all about. And I know it's kind of hypocritical when thinking about a certain NPC and stuff, etc. But that's what I feel like. It's always kind of relaxing to return to this place. Sue me. Doors of Pharaohs. Wait, there's two of these. There's Doors of Pharaohs and Graves of Saints. Grave of Saints. After some quick checking, this should probably be like... You know what? It's an NF. Especially... Come on. With the boss in mind. It's such a bad area. Dragon area. I'm not really entirely sold on this place. I mean, it's a huge stark contrast to the entire Dark Souls 2 game. It's this bright, you can almost feel this bright place with, you can almost feel the wind in your hair, and they really nailed that feeling, you know. And the fortress atop a mountain, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful place. But it's not that fun to play through. And I guess hand in hand we have the Dragon Shrine, which is just kind of the same. I don't know. The enemies, I don't really like them. Drangleic Castle though is also a very interesting place. There's a lot going on at the same time. There's this roaring thunder and intrepid rain that never seems to stop. It never stops. There's just so much good with this place. So much they did really well. Again, atmosphere. But this time it's almost unbeatable. I would be amiss. I would betray myself if I didn't put this into A. It's one of the better areas in the entirety of Dark Souls 2. Probably better than Depraved Castman and Castle. Yes. But I don't think it's better than Carrion Man. Yeah, it is. It's not that bad. Damn. I'm getting proven wrong. Earthen Peak is... a lot of areas in Dark Souls 2 just seems to be... like... you know what I mean? And this is one of those. Do I have to? It's the same here. I really don't like Earthen Peak. There's some poison woven into the place and just bad bosses and no. There are some NPCs though. There are one NPC. Correction. Right, I'm gonna drag you down even further. You're worse than all your keep, baby. What am I doing? Right, there we go. Alpha Brace of the Halig 3. Halig 3. I didn't like this area either. The enemies like chunks you of a third of your health in the best case scenario. In the other case, like half your health in one attack. It's insane. The only thing going for this place is just how beautiful it is. I know it's kind of controversial maybe. Plus I really dislike Melania as a boss. I am Melania, Blade of Mikela, and I have never known defeat. Yeah, you bet your sweet ass I know that line. Still only took me 2 hours, and she was really bad. C might be too generous. No, when I think about it, it's probably around this place. Yeah. Still. Found Keep. Good spelling mistakes there, buddy. It happens to everyone. It's one of the worst areas in the entirety of Dark Souls 3. It probably is the worst area in the third game. A lot of swampiness, and aside from getting the coal and a very nice boss to finish it off. I don't know, man, I can't. This is really bad. This is probably the only D from the third game. Let me do a quick look. Yeah, it's probably the only D. Firelink Shrine. It's not much of an area in the terms of... there are no real enemies like in other places. But it's such an important place. Just at surface level, there are a lot of NPCs. This is kind of the central hub of the game. So I can't knock it too much. It's probably a C. You know what? Nah, it's probably like this. And Firelink Shrine from the first game is probably... do, do. That feels more like it. You know, Filing Shrine from the first game did so many things right. Interwoven shortcuts and places to every place, and you can display other locations from this. You can see other locations from this place. It's such a genius area, all in all. Fishing Hamlet, what else is there to say? I think many other people have already kind of explained better than I can about why Fishing Hamlet is such a treat to go through. The only thing I really don't like is some of the sharks, but I've gotten used to them, I've gotten good. So, not bad at all. The atmosphere is fantastic, and the rain really adds it. The rain and wetness really adds to that Lovecraftian vibe. Plus the boss, the Orphan of Kos. Oof, I get chills just thinking about it. Yeah, it's better than Cathedral Ward probably, and Down in London. Here's where it gets interesting. There we go, better. Forbidden Woods is just a maze. If you go through this place without like a guide or something, you'll get lost easily. At least that's how I work. So I remember being lost and then like, where the heck am I? I looked up a map and I was like, I still don't know where I am. So it's very easy to miss at least one item when going through this place. But as you get used to it, it's not that bad either. Some interesting bosses, but man, just the thick atmosphere is crazy. Like, the ambience is... wow. Wow. It's probably B. That feels pretty good. Forest of the Fallen Giants is one of the areas from the second game that did a lot of things right. It has some paths that you normally don't go through and you have to search for them. Paths off the beaten path. And two good bosses. A good introduction in terms of difficulty for the player. Plus, you know, just the history of the level design. You can pretty much feel some of the history of what this place represents, what it has gone through. I kind of like this one. I'd probably give this a B too. Is it better than Dragon Area though? Well, I don't think it is really. That's Darkroot Bastion, isn't that? That's still better than this. I don't know why I put it down first. Yeah, I really like Forest of the Fallen Giants. Forest of Fallen Giants. Do I think it's better than Honor Londo from the third game? Yeah. Forsaken Castle Canehurst. Oh boy, this is just the chilliest place of the chilly places. They really nailed how you can make an area feel like it's a cold place to be in. Void, empty halls with decoration and stuff that hasn't been used or been useful for many years. Even when you're inside places in this area, it still feels like you're out in the cold, so whoa. And the boss at the end with the hidden secret, just icing on the cake, you know. This is a really good one too. I'd probably give this an A. You know what, I will. And it can stay like that too, I think. That feels slightly better, I think. Fountainhead Palace. Oh boy. You know, I know many people like this area the best from Sekiro, but I don't really do that shit. I mean, it's very beautiful to look at. Some interesting enemies, you know, for sure. And the music is heavenly. Pun intended. So I gotta give it at least a B. The question is hur bra är det? Maybe better than Forest of the Fallen Giants. I think it is. We'll leave it at that. I think so. Ooh. I'm not even gonna... Okay then. Okay. Not gonna explain anymore. Gates of Boletaria. Ugh. Here is where it all started, man. Where the level design just started off with the extreme difficulty in this game. It's insane how difficult this is the first time you go through it in Demon's Souls. If you haven't played any of the Souls games beforehand, this is insanely difficult. There's just so many smart design choices made here, okay? I think we'll zoom out one. I would be amiss too if I didn't put this into S. I'm sorry, but that's just really nails the entire thing. Grand Archives, kinda annoying, you know? Sure, there are some interesting places you can find, some semi-hidden stuff too, I guess. A lot of sorceries, if you're a magic user sorcerer, yet I can't really bring myself to give it more than a C. There we go. Grave of Saints. I love this shit. I love this place. Just the ambience, the almost penetrating darkness. The only thing that sucks is just having a shit ass boss at the end. And story of my life when it comes to Dark Souls 2, right? Harvest Valley. You can go beside your brother. Healing Church Workshop. That's the one you can go. Okay. That's where you go. Okay, that's the one. I mean, some cool stuff to be found. I think this one actually leads to Upper Cathedral Ward too. And you can have some beautiful views if you have the binoculars. What they call that in Bloodborne? Ooh, I'm sorry, I don't remember. I think it's B2. The question is... It's kind of a short area. Or it depends on what you consider part of the Healing Church Workshop. Right, this also leads to the abandoned workshop. I think it will do good with where it is. Maybe Dragon Area is better, you know. Yeah. Oh my god, Heights Tower of Flame, that's an ass, baby. I love this place. I'm so freaking biased, I don't give a shit. I wanted an S at least. It's a very short area too, and the bosses aren't really all that amazing. I know. But man, just getting to this place. I remember it so vividly from the first time I played Dark Souls 2 on my PS3. And just the contrast, it was like a breath of fresh air. And it really felt relaxing. That's the word of it. Relaxing. Like you could actually take a deep breath. Jesus, I can talk today, I'm sorry. I am not drunk, I swear. And just bask in the sunlight. That's enough of that. Hammock Charnel Lane. I mean, they really tried to go for something more horror-esque, I feel like. Especially considering the name of this place. Did they succeed? Not really, but they tried. That's halfway there, halfway the battle. It's maybe a C, I think. The question is how good or how bad is it? I prefer it over Brightstone Cove, Seldora. That's more like it. High Wall of Lothric. Wow. Wowee. You learn so much from this place. And just a quick ponder for me, and I have no other choice but maybe give this an A. I think it's really, really good. It's a fantastic starting area for the game. I don't want to give it more though, because I don't think it's that good. Hirata Estate, man, just the darkness adds a lot to your shinobi sneaking skills. You feel more immersed in this place. And it's kind of a nice way to look at what happened back in the day. What happened history-wise. It's not bad at all. I kinda want to put this into A2. It is probably better than High Wall. Let me quickly think about that so I don't sound insane. But I think it is, yeah. It's probably better than these two as well. It's probably better than Forsaken. What am I doing? Friendly Castle. Yeah, great. Hunter's Dream. Biased as fuck, I don't care. This is nice. I could sit there for hours just listening to that violin. Ugh, I get chills just thinking about this. Remember booting up the PS4 for the first time and waiting. Night falls and it's dark outside, stars glittering in the dead of night, and just Bloodborne. I know this is a very biased placement. This is extremely biased. Oh man, oh man. Huntsman's Copse ain't that bad. I really kind of like this place. I love how it branches out into two paths, or two main paths. There's an NPC or two of them. There's three of them. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, great. And some hidden things that you can find as well. They really kinda nailed this place. I gotta give it a B. Man, I'm so crazy with my rankings. Huntsman's Copse, Dilapidated Temple, Forest of Fallen. I think it was better than Forest. Plus I kinda like the boss. Kinda do. Inner Ward 1-3. Alright. That's after you killed. The first one is the Phalanx. That's the second one. Inner Ward is after you. Oh, okay. Now I remember. I mean, it's not bad. I kinda still feel like, I don't know. It's decent. I'll put it into C, I think. A high C maybe. Definitely better. Why is Grand Archive so high? Right, that's why. It is probably better than Black Gulch. Josefka's Clinic, very short but sweet. That's the best way to put it. Depending on when you go here, you can also find the traitor or the usurper Josefka. There's a lot of story hidden in this place and lore as well. So I gotta pump it up a notch. Gotta give it a B. It's not that bad. But it's not that great either. It's sort of in the middle grounds. Sure. Irithel Dungeon is one of the better locations in Dark Souls 3 because they really nailed the horror type elements of this place. It's definitely better than these. Come on. Fountainhead might win over it though. Gotta do this. This. There we go. Irithel of the Boreal Valley. Valley? Sorry. It's going up to S. I can't really justify it being anything lower. Just a huge sprawling place with... Now this is the correct place to use it. Atmosphere. Holy shit. It's unbeatable almost. And a fantastic boss fight in the end. First thought to be the last boss fight in the entire game. But they changed their mind about it. It's definitely better than these. I'm sorry, I'm just dragging through because it's holy shit. It's the best area in Dark Souls 3, bar none. Bar none. It's so easily better than so many other areas. They really worked their magic with this place. Iron Keep though, even though I kinda like how it looks, how it feels, it's really not fun. It really isn't. And there's a lot of things made to make you hate it. There's a lot of aspects of Iron Keep that makes it, how do I put this? You want to kinda... It's very mediocre. One redeeming quality though is the boss of it. I don't know. Smelter Demon is a really fun boss. I gotta say that shit. I can't put it above Elfel. I can't do it, man. Can't. It's very low C, if even. Iron Passage. I gotta check that shit. Ah, and now I also see that Lost Isolith is a separate one. So I can probably up the Demon Ruins a bit. Iron Passage is the place from the second DLC of the second game, with the run towards the Blue Smelter Demon, and I hate this shit. I really do. It's so frustratingly dumb, and it's so badly designed in my opinion. I can't justify it being anything higher than F, because they royally failed this shit. The thought might have been good, but they didn't really succeed at all. Island's Edge though, they really did succeed. The Storm, they nailed that feeling. Even in the game on the PS3, they nailed that shit. So they really worked their magic. The level design is great, smart, thought out. The hidden places, also good enough. And an okay boss fight in the end. So I gotta give it a B, I think. It's better than Broom Tower. Probably. Probably is. That's more like it. Feels good. Killing of the First Flame. Now, is this from the third game? It looks like it. And then, what else can I judge but the boss, right? Or maybe can I add one of these? Draw below.
1 minute, 37 seconds later.
And I will put this like a grayscale because I'm not sure. So I'll put this here because it's a very, very short area that I can't really justify being anything other than this. Because we're not rating bosses here, remember. They have something to do with the rating, absolutely. But this is just the areas, okay? And this, I mean, it looks good enough. And it really looks like the start of the end of the world. So they kind of nailed that aspect. Still, I can't. Killing of the First Flame from the first game, it's a bit longer. Really up the notch on the storytelling aspect. With the graphics and the avoidance of something spectacular, something epic, right? I don't know. It's really not that bad. I kind of like it. You can really feel like you're on the home stretch. Kind of need to up it to an A. Nah, I gotta drag it down to B again. This is my list. Remember that? Remember that shit. This is my list. And I'ma put this right here. Lake of Rot. I hate this. It's so annoying. If I could avoid it forever, never play it again, never think about it again in my life. Lecture building. Oh boy.
Oh boy.
That's A, baby. That's A. The design of this place, it is really a lecture building. And I can't really... The architecture speaks to me in such a way that I can't really put it into words. But there's just something that scratches that itch. It's also here where you meet the patches of the game. You can also find out his secret. I really like this. It's sort of in between area, a void somehow in the game. Look at me. Lanedale Ashen Capital. Royal Ashen Capital ain't that impressive, I'm gonna be real. It's just... I mean, it is better than these. But the Royal Capital... Nah, it is still an A. Overall, there's so much stuff to be found here. And it can take hours upon hours upon hours just going through this place. Easily. Great place. Really is. Remember my personals, I like some of these better. Still, I can't deny how great it is. Lost Isolith, F, easily. Can't justify. You know the drill. It's better than Lake of Rhode, though. Kinda is. And this is better than these two. Lothric Castle. This is one. This is the one. It's an A, baby. Good design. Some shortcuts interwoven into this place. Neat level design. Looks beautiful. I don't think I need to say anything else. And you can fight the Dragon Slayer armor at the end, which is one of the more underrated bosses from the game, in my opinion. Is it better than High Wall though? I think it is. Even better than Depraved Chasm. I think it stays there though. Majula. Almost short of being an area. I don't know. It's not that bad though. I love coming back to this hub. Just standing around or listening to the beautiful soundtrack. It's so calming. So relaxing. That's what I feel. Majula is so fantastic. I don't know how they did it, but they really nailed this shit. Memory of Yeg. Oh boy. What can I say? Oh, this is gonna go over so freaking bad. Yeah. The memories, I don't really like any one of them. It's a cool thing in concept, but execution wise it's just frustrating. Especially having to go through them on a time limit. That was one of the worst ideas they've ever had, and it's just frustrating. I understand why. Doesn't matter, it's still frustrating. The memories I could have easily skipped. Mibu Village, you know what? I don't know if it's whatever or if it's a bad one. Crystal Cave is better. Kinda failed the entire area. Yeah. Michaela's Halig Tree, oh boy, oh boy. Sure. I did the list and I said that it was worse than the Lake of Rhode. Didn't I? I probably did. I loved Loretta. That's a great boss. But I freaking hate Michaela's Halig Tree. You know what? It is more frustrating than the Lake of Rhode. I'm not gonna change my mind on this. Those bubble blowing bastards. I just wanna strangle them all. And it's so easy to fall off, and if you don't you get punished like dead. So no. Mogwin Palace, sorry. I didn't really like this place either. I don't know what did it. It's just I don't know. It looks really good. Thematic wise, it's right up there, you know. But actually playing through it and Mog himself, I don't really like that boss either. So I'm thinking I might be biasedly stained from having played this just once. I should probably play this again and see if I change my mind on it. But as it stands, I don't know, it's maybe a D. Okay. You know what? Sure. New London Ruins, great. This is how you do a dark area correctly. You're always tense when going through this. You always like look over your shoulder if there's an enemy or something nearby. It's beautifully done. Probably B. Should be better than these. Definitely. That sounds good. Nightmare Frontier. Oh boy. The worst area in Bloodborne, easily. It's so bad. I hate this place. Not only is it frustratingly long for an area in this game, somehow. It's filled with poison. Rock throwing, not Yetis, but they look like Yetis. I think they're trolls. the only good thing about this place is the boss at the end. I hate it. Nightmare of Menses, way better. Especially, don't play this if you have arachnophobia. For real, it's very tough to get through. It really feels like a nightmare at the same time. This place exists in the middle of nowhere, and that's how it feels. It really is like a nightmare. Plus you have the madman himself as a boss, one of the bosses, which I think is it's a good boss, at least in my opinion. Shit, this is probably an A. Damn, I didn't realize I was this nice to it. No Man's Wharf is decent, not that great though. It's kinda long, has some terrifying enemies. I don't know what they are called, but the bat-like creatures with long ass arms. Don't. I don't know if I can get it more than this. I really do like the pirate theme. Could have been worse. It's better than Bright Sun Cove Seldora. Knocker on Eternal City, I really don't like this. I know I'm going to get shit for this, but I don't really like Noxtella either. Either of these two, I know... Both of these are just... I don't know. I mean, it's very pretty. It wasn't anything for me. That's just the thing though. Just wasn't for me. I'm sorry. Probably deserve to be a bit higher. Old Yarnum is decent. I'm not a bigger fan of it. Probably ends up in C. It's better than Iron Keep for sure. Better than these, yeah. Elfell, Mugwin, Castle Soul, Demon Ruins. It is. It has this sinister vibe to it. That's one of the things I think they really did well. Damn, I'm just placing it higher and higher. Assume King's Garden, Old Yarnum, Firelink Shrine, Grand Archives. Yeah, you know, it's kind of annoying getting shot at with a machine-like rifle, machine-like turret. Ullasil Sanctuary. Ullasil Township. Sanctuary? Township. Hold on. What? This is just not enough for an area. Ullasil Township. That's a good one. That's maybe an A. I'd say so. I venture to say it is. You know what? When I think about it further. Sure. Outpost Passage. That's from Sekiro, right? Sorry, I'm retarded. It's from Demon's Souls, of course. It's the tutorial area. And I'm gonna be real, whatever. You can skip this easily if you haven't played the game beforehand. And yeah, I'm kind of assuming Demon's Souls remake. But at the same time, I gotta consider the original game too at the same time. Painted World of Ariandel and Ariamis. The first one is an A, the second one is an S. Or is it? I really like Painted World of Ariamis. It's one of my favorite areas from the first game. But probably places very high, like this. The World of Ariandel though. Yeah, I really like this too. Yeah, you're good there. Yeah? Good shit. Prison of Hope 3-1. Almost my favorite area from... No, I'm sorry. Forget me. This is the maze-like dungeon of the prisons. I'm sorry. I thought about another area. Although I will say, there's something about it. It really feels creepy. You feel very lonely in this place, even though you aren't. It's easy to get lost. And there are some interesting, very valuable NPCs to be found. Well, would you look at me? Yep. Ash Lake. I think we'll drop you down once more. Profane Capital. Is that just the profane capital? Or is it considering the other places too from this? The branching paths? In that case, could be way worse. Is it a C or is it a B? I think they could have expanded upon the journey through to Yorm. That they could have made more intriguing. They could have made it like you enter from either side of the main hall, like you do currently, but that you have to sort of climb into the... Yeah, they could have made something with it, so it isn't such a... It's kind of mediocre. Kelag's domain. This is just not enough for an area, it's just pretext to the boss. The penultimate location. Royal Lucaria Academy. Holy shit. This is some huge ass ambience. It really feels like an academy, and it's so mystical, and you can hear it in the soundtrack as well. I think the fog surrounding the place also kicks it up a notch. Wow-wee, it's good. Why don't you two switch places? Kind of. Why did I rank these two so highly at first? Redmane Castle. I think this is barely enough for an area. It's barely enough. Especially when you first come here, depending on when, it's just an empty place. Mostly. I don't really think it's that good. So I will do this. I will do this shit, yeah. I will say though that the end with the festival aspect, that's great. That's one of the better things as it stands. That's how it is. Research Hall. Let's go to an S, shall we? Holy shit. The thick atmosphere. This is a perfect place to venture through during autumn. An autumn evening, an autumn night, something like that. Wait for it to turn dark outside. Sit down in front of the TV like Indian style or something and just play through this shit. It will add so much to it. It's hard to beat. That's all I'm gonna say. Fantastic area. Road of Sacrifices. That's the one leading up to... okay. To Faron Keep. Also the one leading up to the Crystal Sages. Crystal Sage boss, rather. Could be worse. But oh damn, it's not that good either. I think it's a C or something. It's also here where you first can get invaded. And it can be very frustrating, especially if you're a new player. Yeah, I can't rank it higher than that. Maybe I'll even put it in D. No, it's better than Faron Keep, of course it is. But barely. Here we go. Round Table Hold. Man, oh man, I'm going to do this. I know it's kind of like an area, but it's more a central hub. And in the case of Firelink, I think it's more interesting than Round Table Hold is. There's less that actively happens in this place. There are some story aspects that eventually open up to you. Damn, I gotta rank it, I think. Fuck. Round Table Hold. It's maybe a B. Nah, it's not even a B. It's decent, but not much else. Okay. Is it better than the Firelink Shrine from the third game? I think it is, barely. That's more like it. Royal Woods. Alright. I'm not really sure. I'll have to take a pause here, I think. We're back. We're gonna finish this. It's a bit late outside. As you can see, it's very dark here in this room. But I'm thinking it's a bit cozy maybe. So, Royal Woods is of course part of the Dark Souls DLC. Artorias of the Abyss. It's very similar to Darkwood... not Darkwood, what am I saying? Darkroot Garden. Of course, there's a reason for that. I do like some of the enemies that you can fight there, and Artorias is and always will be a terrific boss. probably the best in the entire game. Yet I'm not really sure if this feels maybe like a B at most. In fact, it might be even lower. No, it's a B. It's a B. There are too many interesting things going on with Hawkeye Goff. We have Chester. We have Taurus. We have Calamite. Yeah, there's too many things. I need to put this into B at least. And I think it might be above these. It might actually be above Darkroot Basin, yeah. I'm thinking, might be even here. Nah, it's here. Olasil Township might go down a bit. Might go down to here maybe. Actually, no. That's more like it. Now it feels better. Ruin-strewn precipice. That is from Elden Ring, if I remember correctly. Let me check. So it was from Elden Ring. Yet this is one of those not enough for an area. It's basically just the lift going up towards Altus Plateau. So I don't really consider it an entire area. It has some, how do you put it? It's a very large space. So it feels very gigantic. You're dwarfed in comparison to it. But I can't consider it an area in that regard that I'm ranking this. Sample Temple there though is fantastic. It's an A. There's just so much storytelling in this place. They really aced the feeling of early autumn and a very quiet, silent and relaxing place, yet with something sinister hidden beneath the surface. They really aced that shit. And I'm thinking they consider the inner sanctum as a part of that. It looks like it in the picture. I don't know if you can see it, but that's how it is. It's definitely better than Castle Morn, the Prayed Chasm, yeah, Carrier Manor, High Wall. I'm thinking, yeah. These have very similar feelings, Raya Lucaria and Sample Temple. I'm thinking this is the place where it lands in the end. Sense. I gotta do this. Sense Fortress is just a fantastic area. It really feels like you're dungeon crawling in an old school RPG, not just old school, in the way that it's kind of unforgiving. If you fall victim to one of the traps, you're kind of screwed. And there's so many secrets that can be found in this place too. And I feel like the Iron Golem isn't such a bad fight in the end. There's just something, how do you say, magnificent. There's something very satisfying with that fight. It feels very decisive. Which is it? Which is it? Which it is. Which it is. Shaded Woods. Oh boy. I'm just gonna put this here. I really loathe Shaded Woods. There's just so much about this place that I really strongly dislike. Everything feels grey and not in a good way either. So there's just something that irks me. There's so many annoying things too with the curse. Oh my god, the curse jars. Holy so annoying. Decent enough boss, absolutely, with Scorpion and Snika. Yet there's just too much holding this place back. I really don't like that you have to use the petrifying... what the fuck is it called? The wood thingy, you know exactly what I mean. I'm just having a small brain moment. And that just adds on top of the very annoying things. Yep, enough. Shrine of Mana. I'm probably gonna... Did I have Shrine of Amana as my worst area? I might have. See, the problem with Shrine of Amana is it's astoundingly beautiful. The soundtrack encapsulates this beauty and just amplifies it. but it's so frustrating to go through this area. And most of you probably didn't experience it in the heyday of hell that was Dark Souls 2 release on PlayStation 3 or Xbox. This area was hell. The homing soul arrows lasted further, they did more damage, and they could really curve around freaking corners. It was insane. You know what, just because of that, this is with a special regards to release. We'll say this is release Shrine of Mana, otherwise it will probably be a D or something, just because of the insane atmosphere. I know I've said that a lot, but you know. Shulva Sanctum City is actually not that bad. It's maybe a B or a low B or a high C. It has so much ambience. I really like the scale of this place. It's huge, and you can actually feel that when you journey through it. The enemies can be quite tricky, absolutely, but not in a bad way, I feel like. A good boss with Elena. I really like Elena as a boss. Not many people do it, but I do, so take of that what you will. I really like it more than these. Yes, 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 yes. I can't put it higher than New London Ruins. I really can't. That's more like it. Sinner's Rise. It's decent. It's more vertical than it is horizontal, if you get what I mean. It's very straightforward too. You come down with the elevator and then it's just right ahead. There are some things you can do to make the fight against the Lost Sinner easier, yet I don't feel like that really saves the area. This is pretty bad. This is like a D. Not because of anything like it, it's just short to play through. I feel like there are some changes that they did with Scholar that also made it worse. Like the freaking annoying, what is it called? Damn, my head is just mush at this point. But you know the enemy I mean, the boss enemy I mean. That's just so frustrating. Siofra River and Siofra Aqueduct. I think Aqueduct is better than Siofra River, if I remember it. Let's check. So I will say this. The vibes I get from Aqueduct is better than Siofra River. In addition to Siofra River never ending. It has extremely good vibes. You can really feel the magic with that place. But I like Aqueduct more. It's more to the point, shorter, but I kind of like the design more. I'm not sure what it is. Siofra River just never ends, and I want it to end sometime. So I think I'm so sorry about this. I think this is a very low C. It's maybe here. I pretty much like No Man's Wharf more than Siofra River, and I know that might be heretical to say, yeah, but it's true. Siofra Aqueduct, I'm sorry, not that much better. It's like somewhere around these parts. Might be even better. It might be a higher C. I don't like the boss though. I do not like the boss. Smithing Grounds 2.1 is just a freaking great area. But I don't know if it's that great either. It's very middle of the road. It has this dark feeling of going through it. You feel very cramped in all the time, and apart from that you also have to focus on these hardened bastards that that absolutely is easier to take down with a thrust weapon of sorts. It's very okay. It's a C. I don't really have that much else to say about Smithing Grounds 2.1. Feels decent. Smoldering Lake. Now, I do not think that they should have removed this from the game. That would have been kind of stupid. But they could have done so much more with it than they did so far. And they have done. Let's see. I think this is maybe a D. It's kind of bad actually. I like the design though, how it looks. That there's nothing wrong with that. That huge ass crossbow. I get why they did it, right? But why did they do it? It's stupid. Might be here. Yeah. Stormvale Castle. I've said this before and I'll say it again. This is the best area in Elden Ring. And I'm not taking that back. Do we have any Elden Ring up here? We do not. This is the one. This is the one. Yeah, I can't put this higher. It is probably better than Hyde's. Yeah, it is better than Hyde's Tower of Flame. It's a Boletaria. I feel it is. They've added so much more detail to this place and they've really learned from their former games with this place. In a good way, of course. Subterranean Shunning Grounds. What I will say that this place is freaking sinister. You can feel it from the moment you enter this place. It's a feeling of, oh shit, I shouldn't be here at all. If I'm gonna be here, I will die. That's the feeling I get from it. And maybe that's not a feeling that you should get from location, or maybe it is. They really did a good job with it. I think it's better than people give it credit for too. It really feels like this unholy shit place, literally. Sometimes I have good jokes, I know. Maybe somewhere around these parts. Is it better than Einsel River Main? I don't think it is though. Not that great. Sunken Valley Passage. The passage. That should be that thing I'm thinking about. That should be the place where you fight the ape. Am I correct? I was correct. It's that one. It could have been way better. It could have been way worse. This is another one of those middle of the roads area. Enough said. I think it might even be a D. Might be a D. I'll do this at least. Okay. Sunken Valley. Slightly better, but very annoying, especially the first time when you don't really know how this works, and the snipers really don't make your day any better. Quite the opposite, you know what I mean. And with that said, I think this might be even worse than Sunken Valley Passage, but there are some redeeming qualities at the same time. Okay, it's okay. What happened now? Oh, sorry. I had to see my Pokemon shit. So, Sunken Valley, slightly worse, maybe. Or slightly better. Might be between. There we go. Swamp of Sorrow. Oh boy. This is just a bad area. This might be even worse. Let me think. I do like the feeling you get when you are there. It really feels like a place where hope has abandoned you. So they nailed that aspect, so I can't really discredit them from that. But the slog of going through the swamps, and I don't know how many times I've died just because of the unfair advantage the enemies have in terms of movement. That's it. So yeah, I like it more than these shitty places though. Okay. The Catacombs. Is this from the first game? Or is this from Elden Ring? I'm thinking this is from the first game. I'm assuming it is. Okay. Not that bad. Not that bad. It really feels like catacombs. And there are many paths you can take, and it's very easy to get lost at the same time. It's a place where you kinda have to be wary of your surroundings. So I don't think it's that bad. It's maybe a B, actually. Or might be a C. I think it's worse than Prison of Hope. That feels like a nice place. The Dreg Heap. Alright. This is actually a better area of the selection from Dark Souls 3. I don't think it's an A though. Jump down and go through all this. Might be worse than I initially thought. somewhere around these parts. Yeah. The Duke's Archives. I don't really like the Duke's Archives. It's probably one of the worst areas from the first game. I mean, the first time it was cool to go through. The second time it's just very, very annoying. It feels like a tedious area, like a chore. And an area shouldn't feel like that unless very much intended. So I think it will get the D. It's better than Crystal Cave though, fuck that shit. Might be better than Frozen LM Lois too. Why are you so high up? Why are you so high up? Better. Okay, the Great Hollow. The Great Hollow, haven't I? Ash Lake. Ah, this is the one where you drop down, right? Yeah, I hate this shit. This is one of the worst ones. I really don't like the Great Hollow. If that's the one, let me check it. If I'm being real, this is probably one of the ones that might not even be an area. Be considered an area. But it kinda is. Oh. It's not worse than Shaded Woods though. Whoa, 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 whoa. But I really dislike this. The gutter. I'm sorry. I'm getting sleepy at this point in time. I'm sorry if I pronounce shit wrong or something. The gutter is really good. There's this aspect of just penetrating darkness that I somehow like in Dark Souls. I wonder why. It makes you feel hopeless, more hopeless, and it's adding on to the idea of that you're unsure of what things lurk in the dark, and you don't really know how to progress, so you're very wary about it, you're very careful, you take your time. I love the gutter. I know many people don't like it, but I love it. I think it will be stuck where it is though. The Hunter's Nightmare. Oh boy, that's a doozy. It's okay. I mean, it's a spin on the cathedral ward and the everything like woven into one nightmare, but with a spin. That's it. I don't even know if it's a B actually. It might be a C. That seems fine. Unalone, man, you're kinda high up. So is Broom Tower. I don't really feel like Broom Tower is better than these. Maybe it is actually. But Unalone though, it's not that good. It's not that good. Yeah, sure. The King's Tower, it's also a non-area, to be honest. Or is it? Wait. I might be misremembering. Wait, it's the one that you first go up. Hold on, I need to check this. Is that the one you actually... Oh, right, it's that. Okay, then it's not a non-area, definitely not. This is the one with the blue dragon. It's just very short. That's the thing. Right, I don't really like it, but it's decent enough. I feel like it definitely deserves a C. The King's Tower 1-4. I don't really think it's this good though. It's very much in the same vein as Consumed King's Garden. It's better than it though. Sure. The Lost Still is one of the more thought out areas from the second game, in my opinion. It feels like it's very polished, to be honest. There are a lot of nuances, some interesting enemies, hidden paths or other hidden things that you can find. Great boss too. Great bosses, depending on how you choose to view things. It's like a B, man. I think it's better than Broom Tower, actually. It's better than these two. This also might be better than this. Nah, we'll keep it there. Good. The Ringed City. Boy, oh boy. Wait. Does that encapsulate the entire DLC? Just the Ringed City? This is literally the entire DLC. Holy shit, okay. This is an S rank. And it's like somewhere around these parts. It's so freaking good. There's so much interesting about it. There's so much lore, story. A huge difference in terms of the areas you go through. Interesting NPCs, good bosses, fantastic bosses. I'm sorry, I misspoke. And a fitting conclusion to what many consider is the end of the franchise. They did a good ass job with this. Good job. The Ritual Path 4-2. It's one of the more annoying routes. It's also a never-ending route. It's a very long path to the next stone, and it's very easy to die in between. There are many ways that they've designed this place in order for you to die more easily. There are many ways to die. That's what I'm trying to say. It's decent, and that's it. It's better than Road of Sacrifices, but it might be worse than Smithing Grounds. Let me think. No, it's actually better. It's actually better. Here's where it becomes tricky, I think. No, it's not tricky at all. Going Castle Soul. This is kind of high up, though. Better. Okay. The Shaded Castle, one of the better castles in my opinion from Elden Ring. Even though it's somewhat small in size, it's pretty damn good anyway. It's like a bee, I think. It's like a bee. Shaded Castle. Yep. The Tunnel City. One of the worst areas, to be honest. It's just annoying. I know it feels more like a maze. There are some interesting aspects to it, absolutely, but it's more vertical again than some of the other areas from Demon's Souls. You have these annoying bugs, what are they called? Fire bugs, lava bugs, something to that nature, and they require a heck of a lot of damage to kill, unless you have like a magic damage something or magic weapon or something. No, and it can be very annoying going through those tunnels with these huge ants bugs blocking your way. It's probably worse than these places actually. Sure, Valley of the Drakes feels like a non-area, but it is in the end enough to be considered its own area, to be considered a unique place, location. I really do like the Undead Dragon in the beginning, if you come from Firelink Shrine. And I really appreciate that it feels like a huge ass valley. It feels very natural. But one thing I don't really care that much about is the drakes. Even though its namesake is Valley of the Drakes, there are a few enemies, a few blue drakes that just kind of spew lightning at you. A bit disappointing. Somewhere around these parts, maybe here. No, it's actually... There we go. The Lord's Path 1-2. It's also one of these more annoying parts of Demon's Souls. I kinda like... A part of me likes that you need to go underground in order to avoid the drake and its fire attacks. But a part of me also feels like it's more... It feels like an annoying... road block of sorts, almost. But it has a good boss, Albert, the Tower Knight. That's a good fight. It's very memorable in that regard. It's okay, I mean, it might be like a low C. It's better than Road of Sacrifices, that's for damn sure. Why have I put this so high? I can see why. But it goes down to D instead. There we go. It's better than these though, yeah. Okay, D Nexus. Okay, even though it's a hub, I'm going to rank it and it's an A. There's just... It feels very spiritual. It feels like a very spiritual place. There are a lot of interesting NPCs with terrific voice acting, by the way. Even no matter if you're playing the remake or the original game, the voice acting is top notch. I really like the more holy aspect that radiates from it. I like that you can run to pretty much every spot in this place, I should have said it. There's a lot going for it. The soundtrack just amplifies everything I've already said, so it should be better than these two, at least. The Brave Chasm, I love you, but I'm sorry. I'm going to be real. There we go. That feels kind of appropriate. Things Betwixt is more like a tutorial area, and in itself it's not that bad, right? You pretty much learn everything you need to know about the game, even though I feel like the tutorial section from the first game is much more interesting, it's more light. But at the same time it achieves its goals in a better way, because this feels like largely a waste of time. And a tutorial area shouldn't feel like a waste of time, in my opinion. It's a bit tricky, because there's different versions of it too. Either the original game or the Scar of the First Sin edition. It's very hard to say. It's not that great though. And you never really go back unless you want to trade with the crows. It's kind of bad. It's bad. Sure. Tomb of Giants. Oh boy, here we go. Apart from many, I really like the aspect that you almost, if you're going in blind at least, you need the lantern in order to survive and kind of navigate through the area. And you need to be very wary, which adds on to the horror aspect of this place. It's very tense going through it. You need to be on your feet at all times, and the sound design really shines. I know the pun is kind of shines dark in this place. It's one of the better designed places. It has its own character, and I really appreciate it, which is why it gets a B. I think it's better than these places, and I'm being completely serious. In fact, it's even better than these. It's like somewhere around these parts. That's my honest opinion. Under the Asylum is fantastic. Apart from being a tutorial area, you meet Oscar here, you fight your first boss, but just the design of the place, it's beginning to give away the structure. It's been there a very long time, you can tell that, and it feels very important, even though I know I'm kind of looking through rose-tinted glasses. I know these aren't, but you know what I mean. Yet I always kind of... this is an area I wish to further explore. And that's how you should feel about locations in games. That you want more, but you can't get it. It's better that way than the opposite. That you get more, but you don't want it. This is the exact opposite. You want more, you can't get it. That's perfect. In my opinion, a perfect start to the game. In fact, it's better than these places. Not better than the Nexus though. Maybe it is, actually. Undead Burg. Fucking S, man. I think it is. Or is Burg S or is Parish S? Undead Burg might not be an S. It's an A though. There's so much things going on at the same time. There are so many things you can find, and if you really look for them, they're there. It's most impactful the first time around. You find these shortcuts, the ladder, you kick the ladder down, and then later on you can find the door and then go down the ladder, which you can then ascend the stairs to loop back to the Undead Burg, thus interconnecting all of these places. I really like it. It's not that bad at all. Sure, Undead Crypt, I'm going to be real, one of my favorite areas from Dark Souls 2. In fact, on par with Hades Tower of Flame. It's very close, it's actually straight after Hades Tower. This is the place with the most atmosphere. I would really, it's a location I would like to go through myself. Not in the same way in accordance to the danger, of course. I don't want to face all these skeletons and undeads and magicians that can beat me to a pulp with just by looking at me, right? But I want to go through that place and just feel all the vibes, the ambience, the kind of coziness. It's very strange, I know, but that's how it is. Undead Parish. This is an S. There are so many things that Undead Parish does correctly. In terms of game design, it just blows so many other places out of the water without even trying almost. The only thing I'm really wondering about is if it's better than Gates of Boletaria or not. And I would probably say that it is. Undead Settlement is one place I really do not like. But it could be so much worse. This is just one of those in middle of the road. Maybe a high D or a low C. Sure. You know what? Sure. You can be there. Untended Graves. Oh boy, in terms of lore, this just is such an important place. I really heavily dislike though that you find Artorias armor and you can buy it here. I really was furious when I discovered that shit. It's so freaking stupid. However, Champion Gundyr is just a magnificent fight. If you don't parry him, I know it's a bit biased, absolutely. If you don't parry him, it's a good challenge and it really feels like an epic fight between two peers almost. Yeah, this is like a B, a high B. But not that high. Right after New London ruins. Upper Cathedral Ward. I'm going to put this here. And the reason is, if you just look at horror games, you could include this area in that same genre. If you absolutely look through the scope of horror, this area, this location, fits the bill to a T. And I really think that's one of the goals they had, if I say that. There are so many horror aspects that you can find around this place. There's also all these Lovecraftian vibes, these space Lovecraftian vibes that radiates through the entire place, and it just makes it 10 times worse in the best of ways. Upper Latria, Yahar'gul Unseen Village. Yahar'gul is fine. Not really one of my favorites at all, especially the latter parts. But I can't deny that it's not that bad. It's also quite horrifying. I wonder. This is more like it, middle of the road. Now, the last location to rank, and then we're done. Hell yeah, thank you for watching so far. This is one of my favorite areas from Demon Souls, and I'm going to once more reuse one of my most used words in this video, atmosphere. And that's what this whole area is about. From the very tops of these pillars, like you can see the grey, almost dark black skies with thunder, and of course you can also see the small fires here and there that slightly lights up the place. This green fire, right? With the womanesque statue that holds them. It also feels sort of like a spiritual place too. And if you're looking at the archdemon for this stone, I mean, it's kind of spiritual in a sense. It's an old monk. I also enjoy the duality of the area, the contrast between the high grounds and the lower parts of the area, with the more bloody swamp, and it feels like a dirty place. It feels like a sinister dirty place that should have never been found or explored. Parts are more decisive, more set in stone. Haha, get the joke, Okay, I gotta stop, All that said, it's an S for me. It's just so damn good, and the creepy ass beating heart doesn't really help. Or it does help its plea, but it doesn't really help to make it less creepy, if you know what I mean. I think this is the best area in Demon Souls. It really is. Kinda like it more than Undead Parish. I think this will be the last final ranking. Ashina Castle might go down like here somewhere. That's more like it. Actually, this is more like it. Actually, this is more like it. So this is the final ranking. You can pause the video if you'd like. I can do like this. We can do bam. Hide the camera so you can see. Here we have the upper parts, S, A, B, C. And here we have the lower parts. Again, pause the video if you really want to see all the rankings. Otherwise, you know. So, we'll reapply this. And then we'll do like this. And I want to thank you for watching or listening to me ramble for almost like 2.5 hours, I think, at this point. Thank you so much. Subscribe if you aren't already. I know you are, so don't worry. And like my video if you like. So I'd like to hear your favorite places down in the comments. Am I totally out of my mind? Let's be real, I am, but that's not the point. I'd like to hear your favorite, least favorite areas too, so we can share and discuss a bit. That's what I love to do about the games I play. Thank you for watching again, and until next time, have a great day or evening, and I'll be seeing you.